With the holidays just around the corner, is FL keys still worth buying? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. This is not a sponsored video. I actually went out and bought it myself. There are two versions of the FL keys. You have the FL keys mini, and then you have the 37, which is right here in front of me. I'm not really a fan of small keyboards, but I did see the mini in stores, and it is small enough to put in your backpack, so that definitely makes it portable and convenient to have while traveling. So the keyboard itself is quite user-friendly, easy to understand, and we could split it into 4 sections, the pitch and modulation being 1, then 2 being like the settings, then 3 being like the main section where we're going to be doing most of our performance. And then we have the 4th section, which is like your transport settings, where you have quantize, metronome, undo, redo, play, stop, and record. And these features make your workflow 10 times faster, especially with score log. If you're not too familiar with score log, there's actually a feature within FL Studio where it can recall the last thing you were playing, even if it wasn't recorded 5 to 30 minutes. Now let's get into making a beat, and we're going to explore more in depth with what these functions actually do and see if it actually makes our workflow a lot better. So I want to start this beat off with some chords. So we're going to go to the main section, which is pots and pads mode, but under pads mode is what we're going to really be using. So there's 3 different chord functions that you can use. First one is going to be the scale chords. So all scale chords mean, depending on what scale you're in, let's say you're in C minor, it's going to play all the diatonic chords that go along with it. In the menu right here, when you flip through the pages, it's going to show you triads or sevenths and ninths and 6/9. So you could get very creative just by messing with all the different chord types. Then we could take it a step further and use like this option called fixed chord. And all you do is just hold it down, and then you could just either play the chord or you could play each note by itself. So keep in mind though, if you play the chord all at once, depending on what note you hit first is what's going to read first. So if you're not really good at timing the root note first, then just type it in. And then now it's not going to really be focused on the scale more than if it's a minor chord that you put, it's going to be C minor, C sharp minor, D minor, and etc. So this could be useful too if you just kind of messing around with it. And now for my favorite chord option, what we're going to do is go to shift and we're going to go to user chord. You get to make your own chords and put it on the pads. So then you could just even have so many different chords that you like and mess around with it, and it will save it for the next time you get back on your keyboard. So that's what we're going to do. And we're just going to hold down one of the pads and put in our chord. And then I'm going to put in another chord. And then we could just hit quantize. So to fill in the gaps, all you have to do is this option and L. Now let's try to get a melody, and we're going to go to the scale option. All you have to do is just go to shift, go to your instrument, and you will see that it's laid out like it's a keyboard, but you don't have to worry about that. What you can just do is hit scale. Now you can play the C minor scale. And then you can play the lower octave at the bottom. Now let's say you want to use a different key. All you have to do is just hold down shift and then hit scale again. All you have to do is just press any key that you want to actually play, and then it will do it. So if you want to play D minor, it will play D minor. And as you can see, it shows D minor. If you look at the tabs, you have minor, major, Dorian, Mixolydian, Phrygian, harmonic minor, minor pentatonic, and major pentatonic. So right now I'm actually in F sharp minor. So what I want to do is go back to shift and hit the F sharp key. And now I could play the F sharp minor scale. So we're just going to put in a melody real quick. Keep in mind that all these keys are like velocity sensitive, so you got to make sure that you actually hitting it at the right volume that you want. We're gonna hit quantize. Hey. And I'm gonna actually layer this onto another sound. And then now we're gonna get into the drums. So for the drums, there's two ways you could go about it. You could do the sequencer, or you could just go to channel rack and then play like an MPC. And if you don't want to take that route, you can use the sequencer. So, and you can use the channel rack to flip through. So let's say you just want to do your claps real quick. Click right there, and then you can switch with the pages to go to the next bar. So it goes by bars. So as you see, that one is late. All we have to do is double click that and then bring it back. So we're going to use note repeat for the hi-hat, and we're going to actually hit shift and note repeat. So when you hit shift and note repeat, it's going to be blinking. And then if you look closely on like the top parts, it shows you the note repeat rates. So you have the quarter notes, the 8 notes, 16 notes, and 32 notes. And then the last key is the triplets. So you just kind of switch between, but make sure shift and note repeat is on. Got the 8 notes going, 16 notes, and 32 notes. So I'm just gonna play the 8 notes right now. So I did like a little roll at the end. So let's actually play our kicks out. And then we could just copy over the kicks onto the 808s. An easy way for your bass lines, if you're a beginner, don't be afraid to use this technique. Just use the bass notes that you use in your chord progression to just get a nice chord progression off the back without thinking too much. And you can see that I'm going down to the C sharp. This is actually a C sharp chord. It's just that it's in an inversion. So keep that in mind. And I'm gonna bring this note up, and I'm just gonna copy and paste. And make sure I switch out that last bar because I played A major. So we could go back up with the A. So let's hear it all together real quick. So what we're gonna do real quick is, we haven't talked about the knobs up here. Go to shift and we're gonna hit mixer volume, and that's gonna bring up our mixer. Now you wanna bring everything into the channel rack. And all these knobs will play the corresponding knob that is lined up in the mixer, and you could just level out your beat this way. So the hi-hats is kind of loud for me. So I'm gonna go to the hi-hats. Level it out. Turn down the 808 a little. And you can also just go to shift again and go to mixer pan to mess with the panning, and we can pan the hi-hat just a little. Maybe pan some of the melodies. And you can see how far you could go with this keyboard. And also keep in mind too, you could also control certain plugins that are in FL with these knobs as well. And you could flip through the mixer channel with the mixer pages up here. But keep in mind, you're not going to be able to really tweak the third-party apps. For Analog Lab, I was able to scroll through using a preset, but it's kind of random. It won't go in order, but it's still good. And I mean, we're still going to be using our computer anyway, so it don't take nothing but hitting the down button on your keyboard. So if you like this video and you found it helpful, make sure you like and subscribe. Comment below what's your favorite feature and what feature you think is missing, and I'll see you in the next video.